A very good evening. Thank you so much for staying with us here on TV47 tonight. This is our Saturday night news, and indeed it is a dark day for the medical practitioners or fraternity after 4 doctors succumbed to the coronavirus pandemic, bringing the total death toll of doctors who've died from the disease so far to 9. Now KMPDU have convened a special National Advisory Council meeting on Sunday to chart the way forward on the matter. Our reporter Zainab Mohammed will be having all the details on that. But first, let's take a look at our top stories tonight. Tonight, 4 doctors among 21 people killed by COVID-19 in Kenya in the last 24 hours. Education CS George Magoha says no one is perfect in response to his idiot slur on an education officer, but insists he is at the ministry to stay. And 4 people killed in 3 separate incidents in Machakos and Busia counties. A very warm welcome. My name is Mombi Chege. Our sign language interpreter for tonight is Faith Chaptile. Now, 4 doctors were among 21 people who succumbed to COVID-19 in the last 24 hours. KMPDU Secretary General Chibanzi Mwachonda says the total number of doctors who have succumbed to the virus has now risen to 9. Meanwhile, Narok County has now recorded a total of 389 COVID-19 cases, 24 of which are from the Narok GK prison. Zainab Mohammed with the details.
A total of 4 doctors have succumbed to COVID-19 in the last 24 hours. This is according to KMPDU Secretary General Chibanzi Mwachonda, who says the death of Dr. Emara Ashraf, Dr. Hudson Alumera, Dr. Jacqueline Joroge, and Dr. Faith Kanjiru Mbuba raises the total number of doctors who have succumbed to the virus in the country to 9.
Madaktari ambao tumepoteza kwa sasa hivi wote ni madaktari ambao tunaita specialists. Kaunti hii ya Kakamega umepoteza specialists 3. Wa kwanza alikuwa Dr. Doreen Adisa Lugaliki, tulimzika mwezi Julai Lugare. Leo, and I'm informed, the best man to Dr. Lushula, Dr. Hudson Nyangala, hapa Butere anazikwa. Na hapa pia tunazika. Na Eldoret tunazika another specialist, Dr. Emara Ashraf.
Mwachonda, who was speaking during the burial of Kakamega's famous Dr. Daniel Alushula, says it is now time that the government takes seriously the welfare of health workers who are on the front line in the fight against coronavirus.
Wamechoka kuhatarisha maisha yao. Serikali itupatie vifaa kinga, ilipe marupurupu ambayo tunaita risk allowance, ihakikishe kama madaktari wataweza kupata matibabu bila ya kulipa pesa yoyote.
The Doctors Union has convened an urgent advisory meeting tomorrow to deliberate on the way forward. Meanwhile, Narok County has recorded a total of 389 COVID-19 cases, 24 of which are from the Narok GK prison. This is according to Health CEC Morgan Siloma, who has urged area residents to follow COVID-19 guidelines in order to avoid contracting the deadly virus that is currently on the rise.
Since the 13th of June, when we got our first case, we've now registered 389 cases of COVID, who are either in our isolation center in Ololunga or are in home-based. As you are aware, from the time the home-based protocols were introduced, we've been encouraging people to go for home-based. We had our first case in the prison, and we were able to take about 200 samples for testing. And out of that, another 23 turned positive, so we had about 24 24 cases.
This even as the total number of COVID-19 cases in the country rose to 69,273 cases after 1,080 people were reported to have contracted the virus in the last 24 hours. 542 people have recovered as 21 more people succumbed to the virus. Zainab Mohammed, TV47.
An Education Cabinet Secretary, Professor George Magoha, has come out guns blazing a day after the Public Service Commission stripped him of the privileges of managing the human resource functions. The ministry now, Magoha says President Uhuru Kenyatta is the only one or the only authority who can strip him of any powers, as is the one who appointed him. Mwangi Maina has the details.
It is this video that has continued to elicit mixed reactions among Kenyans and education stakeholders in the country. In the video taken at Langas Primary School in Uasin Gishu County, Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha launched a scathing attack against the County Director of Education after he found the school not in good condition.
Is that already wrong? You are talking about the report. I'm talking about what is here on
Sir, you have noted. We are happy with it.
Can you get away from this meeting now?
It is alleged after the harsh and disrespectful dress down, Magoha chased away the education director and commanded teachers and pupils to collect litter around the school. Kenyans have been calling out the CS to resign, but defiant Magoha says nobody is perfect.
While I do concede that I am not perfect, in the process of reforms of the magnitude required to improve the service delivery in the education sector in this country, I also recognize that this process is definitely bound to generate resistance if tangible results are to be achieved. And such results must be measurable results.
A day after the Public Service Commission demoted Magoha and put the Human Resources Management under his junior, PS Belio Kipsang, Magoha in a retaliatory tone told off the PSC and insisted that it is only President Uhuru Kenyatta who can order him to pack from the ministry.
I want to state very clearly, for the avoidance of doubt, that unless otherwise directed by my appointing authority, I shall continue to perform all my duties and responsibilities with a zeal and commitment, and to ensure that all officers in the Ministry of Education perform their duties for the benefit of the Kenyan child, parents, and all education stakeholders.
The tough-talking CS heaped praises on his faulted condescending management style, saying it has borne fruit, citing various achievements for the 2 years he has been at the helm of the ministry.
My management style, which has proved successful over the years, is by walking about at the point of service delivery.
The former Kenya National Examinations Council chairman does not suffer fools gladly. He was christened the buffalo that contained unruly and rowdy University of Nairobi students when he was a vice-chancellor. A remorseful but not a sorry son of Magoha insisted that all officials in the Ministry of Education must rise to the occasion and show the value for the money they earn from the public coffers.
I strongly believe that for any meaningful, positive and measurable change to happen, things must be done differently. This is simply because you cannot get a different result when you are using exactly the same method.
Magoha has been accused of runaway arrogance, a patronizing attitude, and disrespect to his juniors, hence creating a rift in the ministry. As at now, many Kenyans are visibly angry with Magoha, with the majority waiting to see if his star will continue shining or the beginning of his end at the Ministry of Education is just nigh.
100% inspection.
Despite the mounting pressure on Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha to resign, over the idiot slur, the professor insists that he will continue discharging his duties until such a time the appointing authority, who is President Uhuru Kenyatta, will deem it fit to remove him from the ministry. Mwangi Maina, TV47, Nairobi.
Thank you, Mwangi Maina, for that report. Now, calls for the amendments on the BBI report are intensifying among leaders. Machakos Governor Dr. Alfred Mutua has thrown his weight on the proponents of the BBI document, who insist that the report is not open for any amendments, but his Makueni counterpart, Kivuda Kibwana, wants the document amendments to allow inclusivity. Liz Mutuko has the details.
BBI!
With the signature collection exercise for the BBI report expected to kick off next week, Machakos Governor and Maendeleo Chap leader Dr. Alfred Mutua has declared his support for the report, which he says does not require more amendments for now.
The leadership of the party urges politicians to stop twisting provisions of the BBI document with an intention to mislead wananchi to reject the proposals out of misinformation. There's been a lot of propaganda, uongo mwingi sana, ambao kuna watu ambao kazi yao ni kupinga tu, who are looking at it as if this is for a few individuals. We want to say that this BBI, this referendum that we are planning to hold in this country, it is not for now. It is for generations to come.
Mutua is urging Kenyans to read the report, which he says it's more beneficial to Kenyans than the negatives which are being propelled by those who are opposed to the report. Further, Mutua says this is not the first and the last constitutional moment, thus calling Kenyans to support the referendum process.
Of these proposals and this propaganda that is going on, because it is diverting wananchi from the reality. And the reality is that, for example, devolution will be strengthened. 35% of money will come to counties, meaning that whatever each county is getting now, they'll get more than double.
On the contested issue of collective responsibility on matters corruption for governors, Mutua has defended his counterparts, saying every corrupt person should carry their own cross.
Kwa sababu sisi tunashirikiana, tunafanya kazi kama Machakos niko na hudumu 7,000. Imaanisha ya kwamba mhudumu mmoja kule kwa county kama anafanya ukora yake, ya kwamba gavana pia mimi ninakosa. Kila mtu abebe msalaba wake. Kama kuna gavana ambaye amehusika kwa ufisadi, kwa mikakati ya ufisadi, achukuliwa hatua. Lakini usimweke gavana kwa sababu kuna ufisadi kwa serikali yake ya kwamba hata yeye ni mfisadi. Kwa hivyo itasema ya kwamba kila askari anayechukua hongo, unapomshika mweke pia pingu Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, kwa sababu yeye ndio amesimamia serikali kuu ambayo imeandika kazi ya askari.
However, Makueni governor says inclusivity can only be achieved by amending the report to allow more views from aggrieved groups.
Hiyo sio kweli. Sisi tunataka ukweli. Katiba ni kitu kile kinatumika kusaidia nchi kwenda mbele. Kwa hivyo ikiwa katiba hatuhusishwi, wale wanasema tuweke sahihi, hiyo sio haki.
On whether the report will be amended, it's a matter of wait and see if the two principals, President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga, will give in. Elizabeth Mutuko, TV47 Nairobi.
Away from that, Anga Kona residents in Nambale town, Busia County, earlier today barricaded Busia Malaba Road after 2 people were killed in 2 separate accidents involving police Land Cruisers. Now, according to reports, the police were chasing another vehicle that was ferrying contraband goods from the neighboring Uganda through Busia. 2 men were stoned and burnt to death by angry villagers in Machakos County after they were found slaughtering 5 cows stolen from the village last evening.
A police Land Cruiser hit a water seller in Tangakona Market in Nambale town earlier Saturday while chasing another vehicle believed to be carrying contraband goods from the neighboring Uganda, killing him on the spot. Police at the scene were forced to use tear gas to disperse the angry residents who had gathered to confront them, preventing them from collecting the body of the deceased and forcing them to resort to talking to them to calm the situation.
Ilikuwa fukuzana magendo. Na huyo jamaa alikuwa kando, imagine. Amechukua mkono yake, ikamtupa kwa barabara, tena ikamrudi ikamkanyaga nikaenda mbio.
Polisi mwenyewe hospitali amekaa ndani ako mbele badala ambia askari kwamba punguza hii ni bump. Anaambia askari kwamba fuata hiyo gari tushike huyo mtu na unaua mtu.
Kitu tunataka kuambia maaskari, ikiwa ni magendo inatoka Busia, shikieni Busia. Muache kufukuza magendo kutoka Busia, mnakuja kushikia hapa Tangakona mnagonga watu.
Meanwhile, a middle-aged woman was also killed on the spot at Magnet Nambale Market, a few kilometers from Tangakona Market, after she was hit by a cane truck. Security forces in the county have been condemned for causing accidents, with residents further urging the national government to intervene.
Sisi tumechoka na maneno hapa Tangakona ya ajali kila siku. Hapa imekuwa salika round 2. Round 1 ni pale Otimongo, hapa ni round 2. Maskari wanataka tukimbilia mambo ya bangi, mambo ya changa, lakini mambo ya ajali wataka kushughulikia au ni akina nani?
Elsewhere, 2 suspected thieves were stoned and burned to death in Masakoni village in Machakos County after the duo was found carrying fresh cow meat believed to have been stolen from the village last night. According to the residents, cases of cattle theft have increased in the recent past.
Tumekuwa na shida kubwa sana ya wizi wa ng'ombe mali hii village ya Koma. Kwa miaka mingi tumekuwa na shida kama hii.
Hiyo ni kitu mbaya na hii wezi iko miaka mingi sana. Mpaka huko kwetu mama wetu ameibiwa ng'ombe 10. Yote ikachinjwa.
The 2 bodies of the suspected thieves were taken to Kangundo Level 4 Hospital mortuary. Musa Salah, TV47.
Thank you so much for staying with us here on our Saturday night news. Let's take a short breather. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
Life is a journey, and we all have ups and downs, highs and lows, and celebrities are no exception.
Do you know I couldn't pay rent? Do you know there's a time I went 3 days without food? If you read my book, I ate Colgate for dinner.
On Coffee with Movie, we get up close and personal.
Nilizaliwa hivyo. Yes, mimi sijawahi ona.
We have candid conversations that are inspiring.
Na acha nikwambie mtu mmebarikiwa na mlikuwa nyote mko kwa line, mko kwa foleni. Huyu akibarikiwa si ametoka, bado foleni nasonga. Wewe ni next.
Humorous.
This is going to be the craziest interview ever.
And life-changing.
Success is value system and the legacy you leave.
Coffee with Movie, every Sunday at 8 p.m. only on TV47.
Every muscle, every bone is our concern.
A lot of pressure with both your hands, you're going to collapse the infant's chest.
Any pain.
There you go. You can calm down.
Any discomfort. We have just the right doctor.
I'm a consultant breast surgeon.
I'm an emergency care specialist.
A chiropractor.
With just the right remedy.
Majority of patients will actually just require supportive treatment.
Join us on Body Garage every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. because we care. How do you like your meals? Sweet and tasty or spicy and savory? On the Throwdown, we bring you our chef of the day. He gives you ideas on how to make amazing meals from the comfort of your home. Every Sunday from 6:30 p.m.
Hey, my name is Sophia. Join me this Sunday at 6:30 as I show you guys how to prepare brown ugali, fish in coconut sauce, and African nightshade, better known as manago, only on the Throwdown.
On the next episode of Coffee with Movie.
So tulienda kukajak magari huko hii Wayaki huko.
So my friend, umehook up na watu wako ile level ingine.
Ni tag, si thieves. Thieves wanakuja kuiba TV, vikombe, stove, gas. Hizo wanaati makot wanafungua milango like a week.
2 million in a week.
Tuna spend pesa vibaya. Mnaenda hoteli mnalipa like 30k per day.
Bolas.
Hey.
Coffee with Movie every Sunday from 8 p.m.
Welcome back. Now, a Kenya Forest Service officer attached to Njukiri Forest Camp in Embu County has shot dead a lady who is said to be his spouse before ending his own life with the same gun. Now confirming the incident, Embu West Sub-County Police Commander Charles Kinyua said police were informed of a shooting incident at Koimugo, about 2 kilometers from Embu town. Wamweru Minor reports.
Embu County Police, led by Embu West Sub-County Commander Charles Kinyua, have launched investigations to unravel the motive of the Kenyan Forest Ranger, who is said to have shot dead a woman said to be his lover before fatally turning the gun on himself. Kinyua has revealed the officer used an AK-47 assault rifle, which was recovered with 28 rounds of ammunition, with an assumption that 2 rounds had been used but maintained.
Alipiga risasi mwanamke ambaye na aminiwa kuwa ni girlfriend ama bibi yake. Na baada ya kumpiga risasi akakufa hapo hapo. Naye yule askari akajipiga risasi kwa kichwa naye akakufa hapo hapo.
The scene attracted a huge crowd, with the police having a hard time to collect the bodies as people pushed and shoved to have a glimpse of what had transpired. Upon arrival, Kinyua said they found lifeless bodies of the KFS officer and the woman's outside a rented house.
Uchunguzi umeanza na unaendelea ndio tujue motive ni nini, kwa sababu mpaka saa hizi hatujajua motive ni nini. Na hiyo ingine yote tutakuja kueleza tukichamaliza uchunguzi yetu.
Kinyua has urged citizens and members of the disciplined forces to embrace dialogue and seek assistance whenever in distress, as opposed to ending their lives.
Wito wangu ni kwamba hata kama watu wako na hasira kiasi gani ama watu wamekosana kiasi gani, ni makosa kutoa mwenzako uhai na pia kujitoa uhai.
The bodies of the two have been taken to Embu Level 5 Teaching and Referral Hospital mortuary as the investigations commences. Wamweru Minor, TV47.
Now, the County Assembly of Nakuru has lost 2 MCAs in a span of 6 months, both from Naivasha constituency. Lakeview MCA Peter Karanjamboro lost his life in a tragic accident, while his Hell's Gate ward counterpart John Jaguna succumbed to COVID-19. Willie Dennis Njiro reports.
Former Hell's Gate Ward MCA John Jenga Njuguna, who succumbed to COVID-19 on Monday, has been buried at his farm in Naivasha. Hundreds of friends, relatives and politicians gracing the requiem mass to bid farewell to a man regarded as full of humor.
Baada ya kuambiwa ya kwamba amepatikana na ugonjwa, kwa sababu pia hiyo ilimstua kidogo. Wakati aliambiwa, jambo la kwanza aliitisha ni karatasi. Na ndiposa nimesema nipewe ili niseme vile aliandika kwa karatasi. Kwanza mimi hata sijui wakili. Aliitisha karatasi akatuambia ya kwamba anaandikia wakili. Yule wakili alikuwa anaandikia ni kwa sababu hapa kuna shamba ambayo ni soko. Wale wakaragita wanajua.
The late was in a company of colleagues for an official duty in Nairobi over the weekend before he began experiencing health complications.
Msiba wa kwanza katika county kule kwa assembly ulikuwa ni hapa Naivasha. Na wa pili umekuwa ni wapi? Hapa Naivasha. Kwa hivyo naelewa kwamba kama viongozi haswa hapa kwetu Naivasha tuna kilio kikubwa.
To treat COVID-19 is very costly. And I like to be candid. Siku ambazo ndugu yetu hizo siku 3 aliingia Nakuru nursing home, bill ilikuwa 302,000.
53-year-old John Jaguna was serving his first term.
Hii mambo ya corona COVID-19 si mchezo na ni jambo ambalo liko hapa. Kabla sijakuja hapa leo asubuhi, nimepata pia ripoti nyingine kwamba kuna wawili wameaga leo asubuhi.
Also in the coastal region, the COVID-19 pandemic has claimed the life of nominated MCA and veteran politician Mohamed Hadni, who once served as FKF chair. The late Hatmi was also Mombasa County ODM chairman. Hatmi was among 7 MCAs who had tested positive for COVID-19, leading to temporary closure of Mombasa County Assembly. Reporting for TV47 from Naivasha in Nakuru County, I'm Willie Dennis Njiru.
And on matters agriculture, unpredictable weather patterns, pests and diseases, poor crop germination, and natural calamities such as floods and drought are some of the challenges that farmers have to grapple with in a bid to boost food production. To address the challenge, farmers have been urged to ensure their crop and livestock to cushion them against such unexpected eventualities. Our reporter Calvin Chitwa has the details.
It is the hope of every farmer to get good yields whenever they sow seeds in the fields. This is eventually expected to translate into better returns upon the crops reaching maturity. But sometimes the unexpected may strike, leaving farmers with a myriad of challenges.
Kwa mapato alikuwa duni, upande sana wa kifedha ilikuwa ni shinda sana. Kwa sababu mkulima anatarajia pengine apate mbegu, lakini shinda inakuwa fedha nazo ni problem. Inabidi hata pengine use mifugo ndio upate mbegu.
The anticipation of possible losses discourages smallholder farmers from venturing into scalable investments, trapping them into low risk yet low return agricultural ventures.
Asha.
But you do not know when diseases will strike. So as a safety net, it's always good to have yourself covered. For the first 1 year that we went into the product, we did not have anything, any calamities. But come the second year, there was a time that we started experiencing some resurgence of some diseases.
But the narrative is slowly changing among livestock and crop farmers. According to Agriculture and Climate Risk Enterprise Africa, cushioning farmers such as Ibere from such unforeseen occurrences can be a sustainable approach to unlock investments for smallholder farmers, hence improving their resilience and eventual productivity.
But the farmer is not going to be successful only because of insurance, but rather everything else needs to come into play. So they have to be using certified seeds, they have to be using the right fertilizer, they have to be getting agronomy support, insurance, finance, all that coming together. And obviously the markets then is going to enable them to be more successful.
Agriculture and Climate Risk Enterprise Africa has partnered with Alliance for a Green Revolution under the Financial Inclusion of Smallholder Farmers in Africa program, where they develop innovative approaches to increase the uptake of agri-insurance by farmers through Village Champions model and the use of picture-based insurance.
We are taking this because we know that agriculture, we are picking it as not as a business, but a business, so that we are guaranteed some return.
The use of ground pictures taken by farmers has helped reduce the monitoring costs. By taking pictures of insured crops or livestock, farmers engage directly with the insurance process, which has been seen to improve trust between farmers and the insurers. Calvin Chitwa, TV47, Uasin Gishu County.
Now, Al-Qaeda's second-in-command accused of helping to mastermind the 1998 bombings of the U.S. embassies in Nairobi was killed in Iran in August by Israeli operatives acting at the behest of the United States, the New York Times reported. Now, citing intelligence officials, Abdullah Ahmed Abdullah, who went by the name Degir Abu Muhammad al-Masri, was gunned down by 2 men on a motorcycle in the streets of Tehran on August 7th, as reported by the Times on Friday.
The killing of Masri, who was seen as a likely successor to Al-Qaeda's current leader, Ayman al-Zawahiri, was kept secret until today, the newspaper said. The truck bombs at the US Embassy buildings in Nairobi and Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, killed 224 people in 1998. It was unclear what, if any, role the United States had in the killing of the Egyptian-born militant. The Times said US authorities had been tracking Masri and other Al-Qaeda operatives in Iran for years. Iran has denied the report, saying there were no Al-Qaeda terrorists on its soil. Masri had been in Iran's custody since 2003, but had been living freely in an upscale suburb of Tehran since 2015. The Times cited unnamed US intelligence officials as saying, Masri, one of Al-Qaeda's founding leaders, was killed along with his daughter, the Times reported. She was the widow of former Al-Qaeda chief Osama bin Laden's son. It was not immediately known what, if any, impact Masri's death has had on Al-Qaeda activities. Even as it has lost senior leaders in the nearly 2 decades since the attacks on New York and Washington, it has maintained active affiliates from the Middle East to Afghanistan to West Africa. The report of al-Masri's killing comes weeks after the killing of 2 other senior Al-Qaeda leaders in Afghanistan by local security forces. Nancy Kimuyu, TV47.
Thank you so much for staying with us here on our Saturday night news. Let's take another short breather. We'll be back with much more in just a moment. Stay with us.
Life is a journey, and we all have ups and downs, highs and lows, and celebrities are no exception.
Do you know I couldn't pay rent? Do you know there's a time I went 3 days without food? If you read my book, I ate Colgate for dinner.
On Coffee with Mbuvi, we get up close and personal.
Nilizaliwa hivyo. Yes. Mimi sijawahi ona.
We have candid conversations that are inspiring.
Na acha nikwambie mtu mmebarikiwa na mlikuwa nyote mko kwa line, mko kwa foleni. Huyu akibarikiwa si ametoka, bado foleni nasonga. Wewe ni next.
Humorous.
This is going to be the craziest interview ever.
And life-changing.
Success is value system and the legacy you leave.
Coffee with Mbuvi, every Sunday at 8 p.m. only on TV47.
Every muscle, every bone is our concern.
A lot of pressure with both your hands, you're going to collapse the infant's chest.
Any pain.
There you go. You can come down, come down, come down.
Any discomfort. We have just the right doctor.
I'm a consultant breast surgeon.
I'm an emergency care specialist.
A chiropractor.
With just the right remedy.
Majority of patients will actually just require supportive treatment.
Join us on Body Garage every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. because we care. How do you like your meals? Sweet and tasty or spicy and savory? On the Throwdown, we bring you our chef of the day. Gives you ideas on how to make amazing meals from the comfort of your home. Every Sunday from 6:30 p.m.
Bamboo Loft is where comfort meets convenience. Its ideal location in the heart of Westlands provides you with quick and easy access to offices and amenities within Westlands and the CBD. Book with us today to reserve your spot.
Baobab Holiday Resort is situated on Baobab Estate Road, off the new Mombasa-Malindi Highway, opposite the famous Bamburi Nature Trail serene environment, with azure waters of the ocean just a few minutes away. Accommodation at Baobab Holiday Resort ranges from luxurious air-conditioned rooms with private bathrooms to self-catering apartments ideal for families and business people. Be it a holiday or a business conference, Baobab Holiday Resort is just the right decision. For booking and reservations, call us on telephone number 020 800 5498 or 0720 63 113. You can also email us on info@baobabholidayresort.com or visit our website at www.baobabholidayresort.com.
Thank you for staying with us. Now, Equity Group acquisition of Commercial of Congo, BCDC, will help it grow its balance sheet to 1 trillion shillings by end of the year. Now, this is according to Equity Bank CEO James Mwangi. Mwangi says the new deal will see that Equity deepens its presence in East and Central Africa, and the deal between Equity's Democratic Republic of Congo's operation and BCDC was completed in August and has accelerated the bank's goal of having 40% of its balance sheet outside of Kenya in East and Central Africa. Equity also operates in Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi, South Sudan, Uganda, and has a representative office in Ethiopia. Equity reported a 30% growth in its loan book to 453.9 billion shillings at the end of September 2020 from 348 billion shillings.
This year, 40% of our assets will be outside Kenya, reducing the sovereign risk and truly becoming a regional bank. We think BCDC and Equity combined together will be a $2.5 billion balance sheet by the end of this year. And that is how we see line of sight to a trillion shilling balance sheet by the end of this year. But undoubtedly, we'll see the banks going through lean times, maybe for the next 2 years.
Now, he went into jail as a 30-year-old robust young man after pleading guilty to a defilement case and left as a 60-year-old man having served his 30-year sentence behind bars. Paul Chepukue could not hide his joy on 2nd of November as he bid his fellow inmates at the Kitengela prison farewell, ready to reunite with the very world he abruptly parted ways with 30 years ago. Our team accompanied Chepukue on his journey from Kitengela GK prison to his home in Morocco Village, Laikipia West constituency, and filed the following report.
Monday morning on the 2nd of November 2020 was an unusual morning for 60-year-old Paul Chepukue. It was a morning that he had so vividly marked in his mental calendar as the 3 decades he had been sentenced to serve in prison turned into years, years turned into months, months turned into days, days turned into hours before finally turning into minutes in anticipation of his release. On this particular day, instead of accompanying his fellow inmates at the Kitengela prison into their normal duties behind bars, his sole duty that morning was to make it to a date with the facility's clearance warden ahead of his release from prison. Clad in a stripped green coat, a somewhat overly sized black trouser, and a brown bag bulging with his personal belongings, the tall, lanky Chepukue, having satisfactorily cleared with the warden, will then make these steady, albeit anxious steps towards his freedom, with a promise in mind that his steps will never go the opposite way. As the main gates here at the Kitengela prison finally gave way to his much-anticipated freedom, his mind was clouded in a blend of disbelief, gratitude, and a little sorrow. For the father of one, the prison had been his home after a Nyahururu court jailed him on his own guilty plea for defiling a 14-year-old minor 30 years ago.
Na hata wakati nilihukumiwa huyo miaka 30, sikutupa hope. Nilisidi tu na kujikasa, nikajikasa mpaka saa hii nimeweza kutoboa.
Tumeongea na family ya kwamba watamngoja, wataenda wamreceive, wako na furaha kwamba he is coming back. Yule ambaye walikuwa na kesi na yeye, tumejaribu kuongea na wao ambaye walikuwa na wamekosana, lakini hatujawapata, but najua ni miaka nyingi na pia inahitaji time ya healing.
His first journey to his parents' home in Muruku, Laikipia West constituency in 30 years would, however, not be a lonely one. A team of prison officers led by the prison's welfare officer Patrick Maridani and a group of well-wishers had lain in wait at the prison's entrance all morning for Chepukue to escort him home ahead of a grand reunion ceremony. Here the journey of hundreds of kilometers began as their convoy transitioned from one county to another before finally laying sight of Muruku hours later. As they approached their destination, they had to abandon their vehicles, but not even the impenetrable roads threatening to ruin Chepukue's homecoming would match his quest to see his family. And as Chepukue finally made his way home, family and friends who had gathered here all day could not restrain themselves as everyone broke into song and dance to welcome their son. Tight hugs will follow as mother and son reunited for the first time in 30 years before Chepukue's elder brother joined the party, and the two brothers embraced each other emphatically. As the celebrations waned, Chepukue's family insists that what ensued 30 years back is already water under the bridge and that they are ready to assist their son open a new chapter in life.
Hata kama iko msaada amekuja naye, mimi nitajikakamua nijue vile nyumba yake itasimama. Kumjengea nyumba, alafu nirudi nielekee bwana mzee.
Nilikuwa na wasiwasi sababu huoni ile mtu. Ujui kama atatoboa ile mambo ama atabariki.
Sasa tumefurahia kumuona na kuwa amefika nyumbani, tena kumuona ako mzima kabisa. Hata kama maisha anajua ilikuwa gumu, kwa vile mambo inakuaga gumu wakati mtu anaenda pahali yeye hasoei kukaa.
According to Kitengela Prison Welfare Officer Patrick Maridani, Chepukue might be spoiled for choice on which occupation to partake.
Leo vile Chepukue alifungwa 30 years na amemaliza kifungo yake, tumecoordinate na nyumbani, tumeongea na the employer ambaye alikuwa amempatia kazi kabla hajafungwa, na amesema kwamba bado atampatia tu kazi, yako willing bado kumpatia kazi.
Mimi ni fundi wa viatu. Sasa mtu akiwa na kiatu kama hapa, mimi ninashona.
Ndio.
Sasa iko usaidizi umekuja upya.
Ndio.
Mshikeni mikono, muonyeshe njia, mwambie Paul, mambo wakati ulienda miaka 20 hizo zimepita, mambo ni tofauti, sasa imebadilika. Mwambie sa Paul njia ndio hii.
Etched in his mind also is a moral duty to prove that he is a changed man, a transformed man, and a man with a mission to leave a mark that second chances do work. David Muthoka, TV47.
wonekanira Ngai na rĩu mũthamaki oka mũtũrĩre-inĩ ũyũ mwerũ ithe witũ Jehova mwega ĩtĩkĩra Ngai kũmũkinyũkithia ikinya Ngai wega waku na ũtugi waku Jehova ona favor yaku ĩkorwo igũrũ rĩake ithe witũ Ngai arĩa aragia mũthamaki andũ makaigua ithe witũ.
Thank you so much, David Mudoka, for that report. Indeed, everybody deserves a second chance at life. And news that we're just receiving some bad news.